My name is Tom Holland, and this is Field Target Tech. Today, I was going to come out here and do a little bit of testing with my good old Marauder and get some sight settings. That's not to happen because my bonehead move, for those of you who want to see, is I forgot my target turret. I was working on it at home with my lathe, and I left all the parts sitting on my workbench. A part on the lathe broke, and I wasn't able to complete the project that I had, so that's going to be this weekend's endeavor. But what I did was I left it zeroed at 30. I didn't touch it, and I've been using holdover at every distance, and it's been working out actually rather well at all distances, and I'm just getting some of my closer distances in. I'm actually going to try this in a match, one of my first matches I shoot this year. I'm going to use holdover, and I'm not going to click. As I've said in the past in previous videos, clicking is more precise if you have a scope that tracks properly. This scope tracks properly, so I don't have to worry about that too much. This is a Citron S3 10-50 by 60 millimeter objective lens. This scope tracks very well. It eliminates becoming a turn out, a revolution out, if you don't have a stop on your turret. So holdover, it's basically set it and forget it, which is good because in the middle of a match someplace, if you don't know where you're hitting or you're clicking and something goes out of adjustment, you're kind of up a creek a little bit. You're in a tough place, and it would be tough to find your zero again and to recalibrate your gun. But if you just use holdover, as I'm doing with this, I'm zeroed at 30 yards. So if you take a pellet or two and you know you zeroed at 30 yards and your velocity of your gun has not changed, then you're good to go. I'm probably going to use holdover because it's probably a little bit simpler, and mechanically nothing moves. And a plus side of that also is some of you guys that have scopes that are temperature sensitive, if you don't change your elevation turret in competition, and you can maybe see as the temperature grows or the temperature goes down, you can maybe see which way the pellet shifts at zero. This way you can determine what the pellet does at other distances as well in the cold or the heat. So in that respect, you could probably tell what the scope is doing a lot more accurately if you don't touch that turret, which I think is a plus as well. One of the other things that I haven't mentioned in one of my previous videos about rangefinding and everything, as you see here, I don't know if the camera could pick this up, adjust the camera a little bit, I have a custom side wheel here from Connecticut Custom Air Guns, which is Hector Medina. It works very well, it's very effective. As you see, I have a Maestro pointer, which is adjustable. I can adjust that, so if my temperature goes off, I can adjust my focus for the temperature if this does so. I haven't found with this particular scope that I have a temperature shift. It works very well. Another thing to remember while you guys are into rangefinding, which is a very, very important part of the field target game, is always use the same eyewear you use from time to time when you shoot. I made that mistake a few years back, probably about 3 or 4 years ago, and it came a time where, you know, I would do really well, and then the next week I would not. And it wasn't because the gun was off or shooting any worse, or I was shooting any worse. It was all about my eyes. And what happened was I was wearing progressive lenses, and I wouldn't look through the same part of the progressive lens each time looking through a scope. I might have been this way one time or this way another time, looking at a different part of that lens. In doing that, I would range find differently. I can range find 45 3 different ways depending on which part of the lens of the progressive glasses I was looking through. So we scrapped the progressive lenses and we went to a regular lens, and I have a bifocal underneath, which is a cut distinct difference. It doesn't fade into a reading glasses, a reading prescription, or fade into a distance prescription. You guys that want to range find accurately, I think you might find that it'll be to your benefit if you do not use progressive lenses, from one that learned the hard way. I'm going to do a little bit more testing with this. I'm going to get some more sight settings, and we're going to pull the Steyr out. There's really nothing to show, only because I put a few groups out at 55. I'm waiting for the wind to kick up a little bit, and we're going to see what these sniper mediums can do in the wind. Other than that, that'll be a little bit later. Stick around, we're going to go to the Steyr in a little bit. Okay guys, this is my Steyr. We have another Citron S3 10 to 50 by 60 mounted on top. As you see, I have a temperature tape up the side. It tells me the temperature of the scope. Different kind of a side wheel, but just a couple of basic things. I don't know how, if at all, temperature affects these scopes. I haven't seen any temperature shift between either one of these Citrons I have on either gun. They're very stable in different temperature conditions, cold as well as hot. They seem to be about the same, whether it's hot or cold. So this scope is a little bit different than the other one. This is an MRAD as compared to a true mil dot. I actually got this one from Mr. Brian Van Loo, and we did an even swap with a Nico. He's a Nico type guy, and I wasn't too fond of the Nico, but he liked it, and that's how I acquired this puppy here. So I've been shooting this. I've been shooting some Air Arms Express through it, and it didn't do too well. I was a little bit disappointed, and I started feeding it some sniper mediums. I cleaned the barrel. I ran a bore snake through the barrel about 3-4 times, and I ran some sniper medium pellets in it, and I am extremely impressed of the groups I'm getting at 55 yards. I'm with a brisk wind that we have here, probably between 8 and 12 miles an hour, I'm getting quarter-size group at 55 yards. So I'm very pleased with the performance of the sniper medium out of the Steyr. The last time I shot them, might have been a different batch. They didn't shoot too well, but they're shooting well out of this now, and we're going to keep on shooting them because I think they're a superior pellet, particularly in the wind. They don't drift a whole lot, in my opinion, compared to an 8.4 JSB or Air Arms, or a 7.87 Air Arms or JSB Express. So we're going to do a little bit more testing. I'm going to get more sight settings for this, which I don't have, and we'll be back later. We're going to do a little bit of plinking with them. Okay guys, after a little excitement chasing some turkeys around, getting some good pictures of a turkey actually. Not an uncommon sight here, but not all that rare either. So it's good to see wildlife thriving here on Long Island. Just going to go through a few shots here so you can hear how quiet this this rig is, and we'll take a few shots here and plink away a little bit. We'll bring this to 55, and we're going to use a little holdover here. We're going to see how we do. And again, this is with sniper mediums. Relatively quiet. So, see what we can do. And I cronied this again. I'm right on just under 12 foot-pounds, and again I got 250 shots before I even filled it up, and I probably had more to go. I was still at around 1,000 psi with it. I didn't run it down as low as I did last week, 2 weeks ago. I just wanted to see what it can do, before it dropped off a couple weeks ago, but I know I can make it through a match and then some. And now we got a little bit of wind kicking up. Decent wind, probably downrange, it's probably somewhere around the 8 to 12 mile an hour range, maybe a little bit more than that. So I'm trying to judge the wind. And we're going to see what this group will give us. Okay guys, here's a 55-yard group. I did not hold for the wind, and as you see we had some lefts and rights. That's to be expected. Most of my shots ended up in this area. When the wind gusts one way or the other, which it does at this range, we had a couple flyers. I did not hold for the wind. I held dead on the entire time just to see how far the H&M sniper mediums would drift, and as you can see, that is the size of a quarter. So I'm reasonably content with the way this is shooting at this distance and with this accuracy. I'm going to take one of these targets over here and this one over here, and we're going to do another 10-shot group, and I'm going to try holding for the wind, and we'll try to get that group a little tighter. Okay guys, we just shot like a 15-shot group at this one, and I attempted to judge the wind. And as you see, there's a whole lot less left and rights on this target. I misjudged on a couple of them. Could have been a bad pellet. These are unsorted pellets. So I'm sure that if I would have used sorted pellets, this would have tightened up a little bit. So as you can see, it's got a very quiet and smooth shot cycle. It's smooth, it doesn't make any noise, I'm not wasting any air whatsoever. And it's shooting very well, even in this brisk wind. I'm still getting groups about the size of a quarter at 55. So I'm pleased with that. And the sniper medium pellets. And again, these are pellets that are unsorted. If I sorted these, as I hear a turkey in the background again, if I shot sorted pellets, there'd be no question in my mind that they'd be a lot more accurate, because as I push the bolt in to seat the pellet into the barrel, I can feel that some of them are looser than others, and some of them are tighter, and you can just feel it, and you get a feel with that. And I seen the same thing in my Steyr, where some of them just dropped right in and others did not. So once I scrutinize these pellets a little bit more carefully than I have in the past, instead of just pulling them out of the tin, I'm going to do my some of my earlier videos and just go to town washing them, lubing them, rolling them, weighing them, head sizing them, and doing all of that. And I'll have a batch, hopefully in a week or so, will be match ready. I believe my next match is a week or two. Didn't end up going to any of the other matches because we were rained out the last few weeks. So I didn't want to put a brand new rig that I just rebuilt in the rain, or even have a chance of it. So again, that's it. Really, velocities are good on this. Everything is couldn't ask for better, actually. Hopefully you guys got some scope tips from before real quick. You can hear the shot count and hear this thing actually shoot. And if anyone has any questions, please like, subscribe down below. If you guys haven't seen any of my past videos, take a look at some of the past ones. I touch on a little bit of everything. And if there's a subject or something you guys want me to cover, please shoot me an email, shoot me a message, and we can do that. So, other than that, I think we're done here. My name is Tom Holland, and this is Field Target Tech.